Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades in Grey. Now, if you've got young boys, young girls, they may be playing football now and they may be coming through the academy systems and picked up one by one of the big clubs. And your hopes and aspirations will be for them to make it all the way and be the next maybe Jude Bellingham, which is always a hope and a dream of children and parents as well. Now, the academy system has changed a lot over the years. Today, my guest went through that academy system from a very young age and got to the very top and actually played in the Premier League. So I wanted today to just talk about his journey, because not every journey is a Jude Bellingham's. They are very rare. Lots of times people will make it to the very, very top levels, and it's about staying there and the life that goes on with that. So I'm very, very pleased to welcome today a friend of mine, and West Ham fans will know him from playing for them as well. It's Lee Hodges. Welcome, Lee Hodges. Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well, mate. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. So I wanted to talk today about your career. Obviously, we all know you from West Ham, but I want to take you back, as it was, mate, to where it all started at grassroots.
Yeah, I played for my local team to start off with. And then I sort of was too good for them, if that don't sound too big-headed. So
It does, but that's all right.
Yeah, well, you better get used to it. It could be a long podcast for you then. And then I sort of got scouted by Spurs. Went there, trained, and then I got picked up by a team called Lakeview, and they was like in the Echo Premier.
Yeah.
And everyone, they was like the team. There was about 3 teams in that league that everyone wanted to go to. So I went to them, and from then on, then Arsenal come in, and that's when the ball started rolling. And
So how old you?
I think I was about 9, maybe 10. It didn't seem as young as they are now, that go to these things. The fact that I still remember it, I must have been a bit older than about 9 or 10, I would have said.
Because I actually didn't realise, because I've read your Wikipedia page. I think you've changed it because it says you're 6'2" in there.
Yes, yeah. No, that was my mum that changed it for me.
So I didn't realise that you was at Arsenal. Because I know you from West Ham, but I didn't realise that you actually started at Arsenal.
That was so I was at Spurs, but I don't know whether they was keen enough. But I went to Arsenal, and that was like they were the best at the time, and I just started flying at that time. I was on fire, so I was there for about 3 years, and still doing my Sunday football, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It weren't as too much the professional side. It was more go there, train once a week, and then play a game once every month or something like that. So I was still doing Lakeview, and then when I was about 14, Bolton come in. And when I was 14, they'd literally offered me the 1 year YTS, 3 year pro guaranteed. And that was at 14 before I did.
At 14?
Yeah. So I didn't sign anything, but it was all written in paper and there. So it was, I went there, and at the time they were signing a few players that are like Lee Bowyer. He had just signed from on the same sort of thing because he was a year older than me. Yeah. And then lastminute.com, West Ham come in and offered me a better contract and a better deal, a bit of money.
And you were 16 then, was you?
Just as I was going to finish school and start doing it like YTS. West Ham come in like last minute.
So when that was YTS, mate, was that in? Because I did YTS years and years ago, and it used to be £27.30.
Yeah, I was £17.50 the first year, and the second year was £27.50. My mum used to get 200 quid a month, but she didn't give it to me. She just kept it. She might have paid for a bus fare now and again.
Because I was amazed. I've got one of my friends, his lad's actually at one of the London clubs, and he's just taken on YTS, and they get about £1,200 a month now.
Yeah, I mean, but if I'm being honest, it makes you appreciate it. The fact that all the stuff that we did with the YTS, like the boots, the cleaning, we had to brush a gym that was about a mile long and a mile wide every single day, so it was clean. All the kits had to be cleaned. We had to put all the washing on. But do you know what? That was the best time ever. We had such a laugh, us and the boys doing everything. If you wanted me to go back to a bit, that would be the bit I'd go back to.
So what was that like though, Lee? At 16, coming out of
Mm.
school, sort of when everyone's wondering what they're doing, and you're sitting there thinking, I'm going to go and play with West Ham.
Yeah, no, it was a bit surreal, but I don't really. But it's just all sort of was so. There was no. I didn't muck about at school. I did try at school, but I was no good. I mean, I didn't take the Mickey or do anything like too much. Even though I knew it was all there and it was like basically done. My mum wouldn't have let me. She wouldn't have let me go football if I didn't. So
Yeah,
then when the first day that you get a bus, and then at one point, I think after 3 days, a player called Mark Robson, he was in the first team, and I'm a big West Ham fan, and he said, "Oh, I'm going past yours tomorrow. Do you want me to pick you up?" And I'm like that, sitting in the car with like this first team player, and I'm thinking, and he's talking to me, and it's just, yeah, like, and then I'm in training with all the players that I've just been for the last 2 years, been in the North Bank watching them play.
so you're West Ham. You was a West Ham fan as well, though, weren't you?
Yeah,
Obviously.
I was about 200 yards from the ground. I lived. So yeah, when we couldn't afford it, I used to listen out the window, see when they could score, and then when my dad had a whip round, I was allowed to go down there.
So what was that like for your parents as well? So like, I take it your dad is a West Ham fan, and what was
Yeah,
that like for your parents having you signing at the club?
my mum never really been that. She's just not really been that interested. Not interested. She's
Yeah,
when I played for England, she come to them games and stuff like that. The West Ham game, they didn't really come. The fact that I never really was going to get on most 90% of the time.
yeah.
So they didn't really come until I started to get in the first team. Then he come to one of the big ones when I played against Arsenal. I think that was away, and then it was mad because I was all of a sudden on. I played in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup against Arsenal, and I was still living around the corner. So I've come on with about 15 to go, drew, and then we played the extra time penalties. And then from that day, I couldn't really live at my mum and dad's because it was just bombarding every day. Just had people just deep down, keep looking in the window.
And how old was you then, Lee?
18. So so then I had to look for a flat. I had to move out. It all happened relatively quick. Yeah, it was lovely because you're a local lad and everyone loves you. But then also it was a bit of it just was constant. Like my mum and dad just couldn't had had enough really. So that's when I had to move out.
I know you mentioned it because you played for the England under-16 side, didn't you? What was that experience like?
Ah, that was amazing. Yeah, I played at Wembley, the old Wembley, as you'd know. To just be in the tunnel, or I just remember driving up to the gates and through the gates, and then my heart going bad. Like I think I felt like I was going to collapse. Like not, but like my heart had gone. Then getting changed and then going out, I felt like I was going to get cramped before I'd even gone out. Where I'd just been thinking about it and that, and then to walk out, and I think there was about 30, I don't know, 40,000 people there. So, and that was against Scotland, and yeah, amazing. I played there twice, once against Scotland, once against Germany.
So look, with all our, as you probably have, mate, I've got lots of friends that have all got their kids at academies now because that seems to be. I mean, I'm amazed. It's sort of when I first started teaching, and when I was at school, if you knew one person that was at a pro club, it was a big thing. And now I'll have a football team of 8 kids that they're all okay. 4 of them will be at academies. I don't think it's the same level as what it was. I don't mean that we're not producing; they're just casting their net
Yeah,
further and wider
I
now.
don't agree with it. If I'm honest, it's not for me. I mean, if I haven't got a son, if I had a son, he'd be playing with his friends and he'd be playing school football, local football, till he's about 11, 10, 11 or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't think these people know how much it's affecting kids when they do at 6, 7, or 8 get told that thanks but no thanks, like not
yeah,
nastily, but like you say, they're casting the net and then just picking up a load of kids. Like you had to be top when I was there. There would
yeah.
be in my Sunday team, we was top of the Echo League, which was the top thing in the country, and I would say I reckon there was 2 or 3 of us that was at pro club.
Yeah.
And they was all 8 out of 10s. Me and the other kids were 9s or 10s. You wouldn't have 4s or 5s, but just because they're quick okay, let's just take them. Just because they're big, come then, let's just take them. You had to have everything at the time.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the Echo League is one of the youth leagues down in Essex, and it's notorious for producing professional players as well.
Yeah, we used to go and play tournaments, and we'd always win them, like around the country. That's why everyone was saying that the Echo League at that time was.
I think it still is, Lee, to be honest. I know sort of from coming through with Zach myself and having their teams in it, it is
was
like,
it was Zach's team in there? Yeah, was he in there?
yeah, they were, and it was the same. That every week you had like 10, 11 scouts there, and they're just taking boys left, right, and centre.
Yeah, I just if I had a son, it'd be with his friends because that's the most enjoyable time. Yeah. I remember when I used to go to training with Arsenal or with whoever I was with. It's nerve wracking. Every training session is nerve wracking. Even though I was really good, it's still nerve wracking. And then I'd feel relieved when I went over and played with Lakeview boys or played with my schoolmates, and it was like the shackles
just relax,
and I could enjoy it. If I lost the ball, I wouldn't think about it for 5 seconds, and then sort of go in your own little zone.
So in terms of being a young pro at a football club, once that initial, I'm at West Ham now, and it's still a joy, but it becomes a job. Is a young pro sort of being about? Because I know you were, like, they loan you out a lot, don't they?
Yeah, well, they don't know more because there wasn't like an under-21s. There was either first team or reserves, and then that was it. So you'd have a squad of the first team of, say, 30, 15 would be in the first team, and then you'd have like the other ones who didn't play, that other 5, or this other 6 that didn't play in the first team would then come in the reserves. So there's only about 3 or 4 spots left. Now you've got like, and there weren't as many games then either, like now.
Yeah.
Like Arsenal play twice a week, maybe three times a week sometimes. We was playing once every week, maybe once every 2 weeks. Everyone could get fit. You never had as much opportunity. And to be honest, training and that is hard on your body. I know I'm getting old now, and I retired at 26 professionally, and I still struggle to get out of bed and still sore. So God knows what.
Well, just from the training every day at that age.
Yeah, it's pounding. You're even like I was playing for school, district, county, England, Lakeview, and then Arsenal. So 6 teams a week. Maybe not every single day, right? But you'd have to fit them all in. The county would be once every month. District to be once every other week. So at one time, I remember I played for England on the Saturday. On the Monday, I got played in a school game. On the Tuesday, I played in the county. On the Thursday, I played in a school cup final. I played 5 games in a week. When you think about it, so that's the only thing. When you do it like that, I mean
that's changed a lot now, isn't it? They limit the amount.
That's why I prefer it like how it'd be now. You don't have that much, right?
But by the same token, we know enough people with kids. They're travelling half the length of the country on a Sunday because their son's playing for Tottenham, West Ham, wherever it may be, and they're getting 20 minutes of football.
I know, it's not for me.
So it's gone from one end to the other. You think, completely.
That's the point I was trying to make. If you could make it an happy medium where you have school, for me, it's school, then it's your Sunday team, and then your professional club where you can just go and do your bits and pieces.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal. And if you're good enough, I think if you're good enough, you'll get spotted at any age. I think. I believed in myself really more than anyone else having to tell me. I was.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. When I come out, when I watch the leagues now, I think the standard is really high because I think I feel like when I watch games like Leeds or I watch thingy in the Championship. Excuse me. In the Championship, they never used to be that good. Now they filter down in there. Even when I watch the second division, the standard of it, like the pace and how fit these boys. To be honest with you, when we played football, it wasn't a job. It's a job now. They go training and they get there at 9 o'clock and they leave at 3 or 4 o'clock. We used to get there at 10. I'd be changed by 10:15. I'd be on the training ground at 10:30. I'd be back in the change room by 12. In the car, back home by 1.
So what sort of culture was it then? Because that was that in an era where the culture was very much more of a drinking culture as well.
Yeah, it was more of a win or lose, we'll have a beer, right? So it was we'd get beat, we'd go in the bar after, have a few beers, and then go home. If we win, we'd go in the bar after, have a few beers, then we're out. It would always be. It was part of it. We'd come on the train on the coach home. We'd have a few of that. If we won, there'd be a couple of crates of lager on the thing. Straight home. We'd have a Wednesday off, so you'd have to go out on the Tuesday night.
So, in terms of if you're at one of these pro clubs, Lee, what is it like being sat there as a young kid, just like watching the games? In terms of when you just want to play, is that a frustrating time? Did you find that frustrating?
For me, I played all the time.
Yeah.
So for me, I would hate that. When I started to get put on the bench, when I started getting injured, then later when I had to retire at 26, when I was 25, I kept getting injured, come back, and then I couldn't get no flow to it. So I was just on the bench, and I don't know how people could have done it for all them times. Like even just 20 minutes here, because if you come on and have a good 20 minutes, change the game, score a goal, well, he's good. He's a good sub, isn't he? He could do all right in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah,
he's perfect. Come on, don't do nothing. You don't get picked you're in the squad the following week.
So you had a moment at West Ham where they offered you a new contract, but you decided you didn't accept that, did you? So no, what was that?
So as you'll see on my Wikipedia page, there's a lot of teams that I went on loan to. So,
but that's a regular thing, though, for a young pro, isn't it?
I did, not for as many as I did. So I'd go out on loan. I'd do so well that then another team would come in for me in the same league. So like, look, I was playing for Plymouth.
Yeah.
Another team in that league, I think it was Wigan, come in and they wanted to take me out on loan. I said no, because I'd come back to West Ham. I want to get in the first team now. The whole point was I want to go to Plymouth, do well, show the gaffer that I'm all right. I'm not saying come back and start, because I know it's a league below, but there's got to be some sort of progression.
Yeah,
and then I went to the gaffer and I said to him, like, listen, I've been out on loan 6-7 times now. Is there any chance that I'm going to be in the first team? Like, as in, would I be in your thoughts?
Who is this manager, Lee?
Harry Redknapp. And I said, could you see me in your plans? He said, well, I'm giving you a contract. I was like, no, I'm not on about the contract. I'm not going to actually have a go. Are you going to give me a chance? He said, well, I can't promise you that. I said, well, then I can't sign. And he was like, are you mad? And I was like, Gaffer, I want to be part of something. I want to go somewhere and do something. And I didn't know whether it was like because I was wanting to come down and then just prove myself to come back up a bit again.
Yeah.
So then I dropped a level to Scunthorpe, went to the first division. I don't know whether that was the right thing or the wrong thing to do. I still wouldn't know now. Because for me, it was the best time I ever had when I went to Scunthorpe. It was the best I played. Reading come in and bid £1 million, which probably in that day is a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah. But the other catch was that West Ham had a 60% sell-on clause. So then Scunthorpe was only going to get 400 grand and we was in the playoffs. So they went, well, we're not selling you. It's 400 grand to us, ain't
because that's probably a part of it. I guess that still goes on with different figures, but it's all relative. I guess that's a big part of it now where, as you don't realise that, but you think, bloody, why don't we take £1 million? But the club's probably thinking, well, we're not getting £1 million.
Yeah, there's all down payments and all side payments, like agents, things, everything. And to be fair to them, they're lovely people. I went, okay, that's fair enough. But I could have been a baby and just started, because I've seen players who played with ask for moves, not moves. They just start booting the ball over the bar and that, just like in training, and go and get your ball gone and just walks off. I just couldn't be that type of person. So I just knuckled down. And then about 6 weeks later, done me knee, and then never really recovered from that.
Is that so? Do you think that was your sliding doors moment, Lee?
Like that one there. Because I don't know whether you remember him. He used to always say monster, like he was a football agent. Used to have a big cigar. Eric Hall. Okay. He rang me up, and I was sitting in a restaurant, and I was like, "Yeah, all right, mate." I thought it was one of the boys taking the piss, trying. He said, "Like, listen, I've arranged this move. It's done. Do you want to go?" So I just started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, all right, mate." Put the phone down on him. I thought it was one of the boys taking the piss. So he rang me back. He said, "Like, meet me at." I can't remember, in London. I had to meet him. He said, we'll go through it. So I went and met him with my mate, and it was all done. It was all done, dusted, I think. And then that season, they were going to the Premiership. They was in the top bit.
Who was this, Reading?
Reading, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like done. And then they just couldn't get it over the line. Like you say, it's the sliding doors moment. I think that's one of the biggest, because then I went and got injured in a game, and I just think if I never played or if I never went to them, if I'd have gone to Reading, it wouldn't have happened. But can't change them sort of things, can you? You can't really do much about it.
No. So what was your two sort of your highest point of your career, mate, and what was your lowest point of your career?
My highest point would be when we played in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup against Arsenal, and we equalised. And I remember jumping on John Artson's back, going in the chicken run, and all I could smell was booze. It stunk. And then I remember jumping off, and then I remember that was the game done, but we were going into extra time. And I remember we was out in the middle of the pitch. It makes me go goosebumpy now. And the whole crowd, the whole atmosphere, singing "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles," and I was like, "Fuck me, I'm here." Like no one. If I died now, no one can take this off me. And that's the other thing I say. I always joke about with the boys. You know what I'm like with the boys. And
yeah.
as soon as I walked on that, I made my debut against Tottenham. As soon as I stepped on that pitch, I played in the Premiership. That's it. That's all you have to say to anyone. You don't ever say anything else. Sounds very flash.
No, mate, I completely agree.
Yeah, I was like, I've done it. Like, because as a kid, to get to that, there ain't nothing else. I mean, I'm obviously playing for England, but I mean, it was never going to go that far. I was like, I've done it. I just remember standing up because of Tottenham. I was standing in the middle of the pitch thinking, just looking around. It was like everything was going around me. I was thinking, I don't even want the ball, really. I keep looking around. So, yeah, I just find myself very, very lucky boy. Everyone, when I say about my injuries, they go, oh, you're unlucky. I've never been unlucky. I'm the luckiest boy. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I've done something that every kid gets up every morning to want to do, and I've done it.
So what do you think it is then, mate? Because like you said, you have that climb to the top of the mountain, and like you've got there, you're at the top of the mountain. What is the difference of you
have a bit of luck,
yeah,
and you've got to have a manager that likes you, and that's not. I always thought, football, you have a manager. That's in any form of life. That's in. You could. I'm a money broker. You can have a client that likes you and a client that don't like you, and they couldn't tell you why they don't like you or why they do like you. The favourite person they speak to is over there, and if your face fits, sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But you've also, and I'm not just saying it was hard work. It was everyday training, being under scrutiny, under looked at. Every pass was looked at, moaned at. A bad ball. You've got to have a bit of rhino skin about you to be a footballer. You've got to have, I've lost that ball, but I don't care. The next 3 or 4 times. Next time I get it, if you lose it 3 times, on the 4th time, I'm going to either create a goal or score a goal. If you haven't got that mentality, you can go in a shell, and you can hear it in the crowd. You hear the moans and the boos and the things. But I've seen players do it. They start hiding behind other players and calling for the ball, and you think, you've got to be brave, really brave.
Because that West Ham crowd are brutal as well. I mean, I've been to a few games at West Ham, and sometimes they're shouting at players, and they're their own players.
Yeah, no. It's worse. I mean, it's worse when you can.
Can you hear it all when you're on the pitch as well?
When you're in the pitch, when it's at West Ham, it's more of a ooh. When you go lower league, so you go down levels, you hear them. You can hear them clearly. You little. And you just stand there. You've got to take it. So, yeah, it's a bit more personal when you go down the leagues.
I mean, because I know you still go to football now, and you're still involved with football. But do you think that side of it has changed a lot? Because I hear sort of different.
Do you mean?
Well, just in terms of the managers, sort of actually talk to the players like that now, and because it seems like it's got a lot more. I don't know for the better or for the worse, but it's got a lot softer in terms of that you can't. I'm always hearing from ex-pros, you can't talk to players like that anymore.
Well, you're a school teacher. I would expect you to know more. For me, I don't think kids can be spoke to.
No.
How I used to get spoke to, and if they wouldn't handle it nowadays, they couldn't handle it. I think you need to be a bit tougher. I was a manager at Aveley, and they was all young lads, great lads, really nice kids. And I said to them, listen, this is a stepping stone for me, and I'm hoping this is going to be a stepping stone for you. So I'm going to help you. You help me. So it's okay. In the game, I'm not a shouter and screamer. I just literally let the boys got to do, and then I'll talk to them, whatever. Come in. I said, listen, saying a few things. I said to this kid, like, this. And he looked at me as if I'd called him something. Like the anger, like thing. I said,
yeah.
are you getting angry? I said, like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to make you better. And he was like, so I ended up having to take him. He wanted, like, near enough to have a fight with me. And I was like, I went into the changing rooms. I took him to my thingy room. I was like, mate, I'm helping you. I said, I've played at every single level. Because I'm not saying giving it the big time or anything. I'm actually trying to help you. And then afterwards, until there, I actually took him in there. He said, sorry, I think they don't like the embarrassment in the front of people and stuff. Whereas we, in the change rooms, you had to take the banter, you had to take the bollockings, you had to take everything that come with it. I don't really see it. I don't see that sort. Even the banter side of it, I think you've got to be a bit of a nervous wreck sometimes.
Yeah.
But the stuff that you come out like we used, there was no, we had an absolute laugh. Like the youth team days were absolutely the best. So I don't know. I think me myself might have brought our kids up a little bit too soft. Maybe I don't want to speak for everyone, but.
So what was that like? The transition coming down into non-league, was that an easy transition for you? What was that like for you?
It's the quality from the Premiership downwards at each level. When you was in the players in the Premiership, when they pass you the ball, the appreciation of the pass is the best. When they know how to drill it into you, they'll drill it into you. When they know to roll it into you, roll it into you. The lower you go, these boys in the like a Billericay or something. Not that they ain't good players, but everything's at 100 mile an hour. They're still passing the ball while they're still running with it, and when it gets to you, they'll either roll one into you. Well, this I'm not saying now, but when I was there, they'll roll one into you, and you've got the fullback running at 100 mile an hour at you. You're thinking, well, you might as well just put a red cross on that because I'm going to get put up in the air.
Is that why you kept shouting at me when I kept putting balls around your neck?
After your 14th touch off your knee. And then they'd roll it in, and I'd go, just drill it in, because they don't trust you. Whereas when you're high, you go, you just drill it into someone, because you know they touch the ball, they've controlled it, done. Ball's dead. And that's the things that I just found a little bit different. Is that they were all good players that I played with in non-league, really good. And they could run all day, fit as fiddles. But it's just that little bit of quality when you needed it. Especially, it's like in the final third. There ain't no give there. You have got.
I never went in the final third, mate, unless it was a corner.
Never. Flick-ons. Don't forget your flick-ons.
Just flick it on. So you alluded to it a little bit earlier on, Lee. When you came out and you came down to non-league, obviously played in like high levels of non-league, and then you tried your hand at sort of management and coaching. Was that a good fit for you?
I like the manager's side of it. I did find a bit of the politics behind the scenes and stuff not really my game. I just wanted to turn up, look after the football things, the money side of it, handing out the money or getting the money off the chair. That for me, I was more nervous about everything else that come with it than I was the game. I felt relieved once the game was I was in the change room and that was all out of the way. It was all the stuff around it, and I was thinking and not only that, you've got to go to work, you've got to see the missus. And you're going there Tuesday, Thursday, all day Saturday, then you've got kids, and it's like it all starts getting on top of you, and you're thinking, I'm getting 150, 200 quid a week for this. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying that's a big time, 200 quid, but I'm just saying, as well as working, as well as having all family issues and stuff, it was just too much. Like I say, the relief was the actual game, and that should be the nervous bit, right?
Yeah. So you said earlier on as well, because a couple of the questions I wanted to ask you as well. When you came out, you said you're obviously in money broking now. So what was that like, going from sort of turning up to training every day? Because you've gone from one really high pressure job to another really high pressure job in a completely different environment. Yeah. So what was that like? How did that all come about?
When I had a meeting with one of my friends, said I was struggling. If I'm honest, I didn't have a job.
So is this when you came out of the football?
Well, I come out of the football and I went to Thurrock. Not there no more, but I went to Thurrock, and they give me a good contract, to be honest. Got good money. They give me a job. Tommy South. It was Colin McBride was the manager at the time, and basically I got everything. That was fine. but it was always going to be short term. If your football don't go well, then you end up losing the job as well. So it was a bit. I started off on fire there, and then it went a bit downhill. I weren't great. You sort of lose jobs, so I needed to go and get me something good, like not saying good, but something where I could start at the bottom,
stable,
and build up. Yeah. And my mate said, "Come and." So at the time, I was still speaking to people like Frank, Rio, Joe Cole, a couple of boys that I was still just come out of football with. So I said, "Listen, boys, if you can, I'm gonna do this. Would I be able to bring the clients to come see?" They're like, "Yeah, whatever you need, just let us know." So that's how I went and sold myself like that to get into the broking game, which it ain't like that now, but this is like 20, 25 years ago, whatever. So then I'll take the clients. I'll go to work, then I'll go and take them to the Chelsea game, watch the game, go out a few beers with Frank after. They loved it. So then all of a sudden I started getting good. It all started rolling and it was getting all right.
Because it's about relationships, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different now. You've got to have all your qualifications and stuff. So I'd be absolutely knackered. But yeah, but then them days it was not what you knew, it was who you knew, and like it was a good job at the time. It still is, but it's getting harder, very hard.
Did you find that a hard transition then, starting that work? Though?
I was all right. Do you know what? I'm sort of that person that every day I just sort of go through what I have to go through. I don't really look too much into things, which is probably not a good trait. I just get up there. I hope for the best every day. That it's just going to.
I think that's a great trait, mate. I don't think it's a bad trait at all.
Yeah, I don't worry about. I mean, the only thing I worry about is Mrs. and the kids. As long as they're all right, I can deal with anything else, really.
So what was it like when you was a pro, maintaining sort of relationships, outside of football? Does it make it difficult when you're a professional footballer with all the attention that you're getting? Because I can imagine that if you're single, you're getting loads of attention. And then if you're in relationships, it's then very challenging as well.
When I was playing football, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, because it's just constant. I mean, and them days we all went out.
Yeah.
You'd go out and you'd be partying. Now it's all on the phones or whatever I wouldn't want to be doing it now, like with everything that goes on. Yeah, you went out and it was.
It'd last 5 minutes, wouldn't you?
That's why I'm happy.
I know. No, I know you are happy. You keep telling me you're happy. It's quite sick. It's quite sickening, actually.
You say that, didn't it?
So, mate, what advice would you give, like parents that are out there watching, and hopefully some kids watch this as well? Because I think for kids, some of their greatest learning should be listening to people like yourself that have done it from top to bottom in terms of Premiership and all the other leagues, done all the loan moves, gone to places. Because that must be hard going to new teams and constantly walking into changing rooms, meeting new people.
But that made me a man, if I'm honest. Not that I'm not giving myself big, but that's made you a man because you have to go in these places and you have to fit in. And I feel like I can go anywhere now, not even a football thingy, but work or this or that. I can fit into anything. If I went out with you tonight and I met with all your mates or something, and I believe that it's because I had to do all them situations to make me like that. And not saying I'm the greatest person, but I get on with most people. I get on quite a normal, genuine guy. And I just think the only thing I'd say is like to become a professional, like when I was in the Premiership, that's a 0.01% chance that you're going to be able to do that. And I'm saying it as if I had a son. So I'm saying I would let them, I just want them to enjoy it. And then always do it because you in them change rooms and that is the best as a kid from all the time. And then I just think I didn't realise how you could actually have such a good life playing non-league and having a job and doing the same together and earn a good living.
Yeah.
I just thought if I fell off that thingy, that's it, done. But it ain't. And they get some good crowds now. You get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people there, and you're taking home £1,000 a week at some of these clubs, and then you sort of do a trade. Say I'm going to be an electrician. Got 5 years of that. Then you're on about £3,000 a week. There's a life. There's a life. I think like I said, I'll just take every day as it comes. If they said to me tomorrow, we're going to do something, I'll just go and do it.
So my last question, mate, is because I'm always because I've known you from through football as well, and I do love listening to players that have reached the pinnacle level. because I find it so interesting.
Mate,
So, mate, in terms of football, what do you think is the difference? Because, like, I look at, you must have been coming through and been playing with players that went on and did sort of other things, and you must have been thinking, I'm better than him. So, what do you think is the difference?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Honest opinion.
I think I was born with it. I was born, don't get me wrong, I practiced and I've done everything, but I was born, like, I see I go and watch some of my friends' kids, they go, da-da-da, and they go, come and watch. I go, okay. So I watch them play, and they're good. They're on the ball, they're good, but then they haven't got that nastiness, and then if you haven't got that, then sometimes you haven't got the quality. But for some reason, like, even, I know it sounds really weird, I could stand in a pub or a room or something, and I have this sense that there's someone there, or there's that thingy's there, or something like that's going to happen. And I don't know why. I can't ever explain it. I don't know whether I've looked around and not realised I've looked around and there's something there. But even like that sort of situation, on a football field, I just felt I knew where everything was, and I didn't know why. And I just felt I was born with it from early. I just remember I used to get the ball when I was about 7, 8, and I just remember all kids just falling on the floor, and I just thought it was all bang goal, and that was it. And I don't know, weren't no skills or tricks or anything like that. I just feel like I was born with it, but I did actually have to work really hard. Like the amount of games I had to play, everything I had to do with it.
Yeah.
My poor dad, I reckon he done about 3 billion miles for me. So yeah,
I bet he loved it. I bet he loved every one of them.
He did,
though,
yeah. He didn't moan much. No, he don't really bring it up much now. Jesus.
So did you have that though, mate, at clubs where you'd look at other players maybe doing better, but you knew you was a better player than them and had more than them? Did you ever have that at pro level?
Well, I used to go away on loan, come back, and everyone was like, "Fucking like Jesus, Hodge," because I was sharp. You can train as much as you want. You can go and play in reserves game as much as you want.
Yeah.
Once you go into the first teams, you become stronger, fitter, everything. And then when you're like that, you get your confidence. And I used to come back and the boys were like, Ozzy, you're on fire. Like if you went and spoke to some of the West Ham boys now, I do a couple of dinner nights and stuff like that for the West Ham. And even them, they'll say like Ozzy was unreal. If you read, Rio's book, Frank's book, and Michael Carrick's book, something like that, I may be wrong. Carrick, and they all will tell you that I was one of the best there at the time. But it's just the gaffer didn't fancy me. At the time, though, we had old.
So is that the difference though? That's what I'm getting at.
I just don't want to blame it on one person though. If I'm honest.
I'm not looking to blame one person, but what I mean is, I'm not asking you for names or anything like that, but I just mean for other people, is that sometimes the difference of what could be is just that like someone's got to have faith in you and like you.
Yeah, but the other thing is like at that time, I'm not naming names, but they were bringing in loads of foreign players, right?
Yeah.
So you'd buy someone for 600 grand, and you've got me that's sitting there, cost nothing. You've got to justify why you bought this geezer, right? And why has he come in? Then you've got to play him like Dimitriescu and players like that. They was like old Berkfield. He was quality. Don't get me wrong, he was brilliant. But a couple of the boys that had come in, if I'd have played like that after one game, I'd have never played again. But then they get another chance. So
yeah.
But it sounds like excuses, and I can't stand people that make excuses. So that is not.
No, I don't. As you say, I think it's having someone that actually believes in them in the first place. Well, listen, mate, one of the biggest things that I do love about you is that I know that when I play with you, you still love playing football.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
And I can see, so, whether it's a five-a-side or vets, and I think that's a great testament to you as well, because you just love...
I put it like a golf... when you go golf and you had 3 horrendous shots and then on the 4th shot you hit one straight down the middle. That's how I feel like playing football. And you have that buzz again. You think, I can still do it. And that's how I feel, basically. So I have a little bit of magic every 4 touches, lose the ball the other 3. Everyone goes, you're brilliant.
It's all about moments, mate, isn't it? It's all about moments. Well, listen, Lee, thank you so much for joining me, mate.
No worries, mate. Anytime.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Guys, thank you for listening to Fish Chasing Grey. Send me your comments. Make sure you subscribe and follow, and we'll catch up with you soon. Take care.